All right, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome.
Got him. Got him. Oh, that was good. Good times, friends. All right. Sorry, I won't do that again.
All right, here we go for real. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back.
I did it again. I can't believe I did it again. I'm sorry. Poor Bo. I'm just screwing Bo so bad today. All right, we've only wasted 2 minutes. Let's actually get into it. Okay, I won't do it again. I'm going to turn around.
Welcome to Access Sports Weekly here on AccessWDUN.com. Bo Wilson alongside Jeff WilHart and the man behind the camera and in front of the camera, Seth Chapman. Welcome to the show, everyone, and welcome to another edition with you fellas.
We finally got the lead in. There we go.
Yeah, we're here.
That took a while.
It took a while.
Did. Mostly my fault, though.
How's you doing? Everybody doing well?
Sure, we're great.
Yeah.
Great? Sure, we're great. That sounded really good, Jeff. Sure, we're great.
We're great. Let's move on.
Show over. That's it, folks. We're done.
That's the show. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
It was just a basic check-in with all of us here, so now we're good. We're good to go.
Yeah, they know we're alive.
They know we're here.
That's it. We have documented proof that we are alive.
We are. So everybody's doing well, correct?
Yeah.
We're all good, right?
I think we're just ready to start talking sports.
Okay. Well,
Maybe.
We've been trying to talk sports for the last 10 minutes, but now we finally are talking, but just not sports.
That's correct.
So let's get to the sports talk as, basketball season, 3 games left? Yeah.
3, 4.
3 or 4.
It depends on if they're playing on the weekend or something on a Saturday.
So here we are, region play winding down. The shuffle continues. Teams are moving up, moving down, in the crucial positioning for the region tournament. Because obviously you don't want to go into the region tournament, the last seed in it. You want to try to move up out of that last seed so you don't get the number 1 seed or the higher seed. So a lot of teams are trying to do that. But, before we get to that, Jeff, one of the cool things happened this week on Monday, Martin Luther King Day, the EHall Gainesville rival renewal.
Yeah, I tell you, I like the idea and the concept. Seth Vining, who's not with EHall anymore, but had kind of set the ball rolling to try to get this set up on MLK Day, which I think is a great way to kind of because there's always something going on MLK Day in Gainesville, and I think that's a great way to end the day. However, instead of playing at 6, maybe they should play that game. A lot of businesses are off. Maybe they should play that game like at 2 or 3. You're going to have your marches and your little things, and then almost just go straight to the gym and play that in the afternoon. I think that'd be a great way to kick, to kind of finish the day off on that kind of. And I'm hoping this is something that's going to be more in the future. Talked to Gainesville coach Chuck Graham. I almost did it again. I don't understand what my problem is, but anyway.
We're going to have to start giving you an allowance of name mess-ups, Jeff.
I don't know what my problem is other than I'm just – how old am I now, Bo?
87.
I have forgotten.
Dirt and a half.
Dirt and a half.
Just keep throwing it on.
What does a half a dirt look like? That's what I want to know.
You.
So I'm getting so old, I don't even remember how old I am.
Right,
but and he really liked the concept of it. I thought that was really fun. And, but the renewal of the rivalry, that was their first they used to play twice.
Outside of Lanier Land.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. They used to play 2 regular season games every year, one at EHall, one at Gainesville. That was their first regular season scheduled meeting since 2016. When you go back and you think about it, they really haven't played that often. Mm-hmm. They played in Lanier Land like 2 or 3 times in a row, either in the semis or in the finals, and that's the first regular season meeting. And rivalry, I'm not, we're almost getting into like Alabama, Tennessee territory here, at least on the boys' side, which is not good for the rivalry. I've talked to some people around the town about this. Gainesville's won 12 in a row, the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Last EHall win was in 2012.
Wow.
that's just hard to fathom. When you think of the history of the rival, even when teams weren't so good, it was a toss-up game every year. But right now, Gainesville is just exerting such a dominance in the series. You know, I think it's a problem for the series. Personally, I do. And I'm not sure that I see much of an end in sight, and here's why. This is my theory. I think it also plays with Lanier Land. Gainesville is the biggest school. We've got so many Hall County schools now, talent spread out. The schools, they're trying to keep them into the AAA level. Gainesville is now moving up to 7A. They have more population per school, more talent. I'm not sure that I see an end in sight. I really don't. I'm not sure that I see anyone else winning Lanier Land again on the boys' side, at least for the foreseeable future. And I'll take the hit. All you other boys programs, bring it on. That's fine. But I mean, we have to get back to some competitive balance, and I just don't see it right now. Gainesville just has too much, at least on the boys' side.
Well, you talk about competitive balance. You're not going to get that when you have a school with over 2,000 kids in the school, and then you have AAA or 3A, 1,000 in those schools. Now, you can have that competitive balance. It's just according to who, what your youth programs are doing, who's moving in, who's moving out, who's transferring in. So I'm not going to say that Gainesville will forever be, that Lanier Land winner or that dominant school in the county, because you never know what's going to happen down the road. Well, now, back to the EHall Gainesville rival, yes, EHall is definitely showing a down cycle.
Oh, there is. Here's the thing, and I agree with you on that. This is just that was my personal opinion on where we are now. Because when EHall was winning 10 of 11, they were AA school, AAA, but Gainesville was too. So there was more of a level.
But you still have that talent.
That's correct. Right now, and I don't think it's just,
because think about it. All right, let's do comparison since we brought this up. Let's do comparison. Let's take Hebron Christian girls, or let's take Wesleyan girls.
Okay.
All right. Single A, 500 kids.
Yeah, but they can recruit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're saying here, or what I'm trying to say, regardless if they can recruit, you still have a program that's better than, say, any 5A program.
Yes. I do not think
so I'm using this
matters.
kind of as a correlation.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen at North Hall. You never know what's going to happen at EHall. You never know what's going to happen at Flowery Branch. You never know what's going to happen at, Cherokee Bluff, Chestatee, those other schools.
Right.
What's going to happen? There's going to be a group that comes through. There's going to be a cycle of athletes that comes through that have played together that's going to end up being the best boys team in Hall County, period. Now, whether that takes 10 years or 6 months or a year, who knows? But as far as a stronghold on boys basketball, if we're talking about on the now in Hall County, just from the eye test and from results on the court, yes, Gainesville is the most athletic basketball team in the county.
Right. And
you can win a lot of games on that.
That's true.
And you can especially win a lot of games on that when you are more athletic than the other team that you're playing. And we've seen that. We saw it happen in Lanier Land. But sometimes when you are that athletic, and it's like Coach Graham told me on Tuesday night, Gainesville had a 12-point lead in that game. They blew the lead. They lost the game. Coach Graham goes, we lost our identity. So you can have all the athletes in the world on your team, but if you lose that identity, if you lose your purpose in that ball game and you start going off the grid, let's say, then you're going to lose a game.
Right.
And that could happen against anybody. And that happened last night for Gainesville. So the theory, I agree with the theory, and I agree with what you said, yes, to the point of Gainesville and EHall. But I think there's going to come a time where it's going to correct itself.
Well, EHall is just going through whatever they're going through right now. I mean, we all have a lot of theories, and we're not going to talk about that.
Nah, we don't want to talk about theories. We're not going to talk about that.
But, you hope that they get it solved in a timely fashion. it used to be East Hall Gainesville was it was more than just a game.
No, it was a regional game.
And not only that, but it was an event. Packed houses, anticipation.
People from everywhere.
Exactly. Whether
not just Hall County.
Not just Gainesville East Hall fans either.
No.
And that's, right now, it's just not there.
All right.
And so, and I don't know exactly what can be done, but, I guess part of me, because that was one of the first games when I came to town, covering Lanier Land was the first thing I did. And they schooled me really quick on what was going to happen and who was good in this. And I remember my very first Gainesville East Hall game. Tim Gaither was on the point guard for Gainesville. I believe they won.
How good was it?
I grew up watching some pretty good high school basketball in Alabama, but I had never seen anything quite like that. And that's what I always go back to. That's what I want to see as a fan, whether I'm covering or not. I just want to see this rivalry get back to being a rivalry.
Okay. Well, look, speaking of that, it was a close game. Boys' game was a close game. Now, the East Hall girls probably surprised a lot of people with the blowout over Gainesville.
That was a surprise.
But you get to the boys' game, and you're expecting Gainesville to just completely dominate East Hall. And this is nothing. This is not knocking East Hall. We know what East Hall has. We know what East Hall is doing. It's not a knock against any of their players. But you know what Gainesville had. And you expected, not just you,
right?
But you expected Gainesville to get the job done.
I think so.
Gainesville struggled.
Well, they did. I thought East Hall played really well.
Right.
I did. They played some really good defense early on, made some shots. Gainesville, I think Gainesville just, in the end, just had a little too much. But, East Hall played pretty well, in my opinion. But, and we talked to, both coaches afterwards. I tell you what was interesting, and we'll fire those up here in just a second. We know who won the game, but when you listen to the interviews, try to tell me who you think won the game.
All right. Well, hey.
Let's roll it.
Let's roll
them.
Yeah. Well, I forget we're rivals because we haven't played in so long. We played them this year in Lanier, and they beat us, and it's a good team. I think they beat us by 9, and I thought they probably played harder than us in that game. So we just wanted our girls to bring good energy. We shot the ball well. Thought we rebounded well, and I think that's kind of what brought the victory. Good defense and good rebounding.
How is this team overall? I think y'all got a win over Lumpkin, I believe, last week. Now Gainesville.
Yeah.
Progressing at the right time?
Yeah, well, we hope so. We've been up and down all year. We've had spells where we'll win 2 or 3 in a row, and then we'll lose 4 in a row. So it's been up and down, and we're trying to just get it up at the end. But the girls are playing hard. They've got good energy. Our practices have been well, and we're just going to try to keep moving forward.
What's going to be the focus as y'all get ready for region tournament?
Just fundamentals, defense, rebound, doing the right things on offense, making the right play, making the right pass, shoot the ball when you're supposed to shoot it, and just being an attacking mindset, and that's just how we're going to finish.
Credit to East Hall. I thought they had a great game plan. I thought the kids played with a lot of energy, and I thought they brought the fight to us. Thought a couple times we responded well, but then at other times we were real sloppy, and a lot of that was due to their pressure and the game plan they had.
Well, Coach, you've kind of been won I think 9 of 10, and I know you did lose to Lanier, and you got a big game with Tequila coming up, and down the last stretch here. What does this team have to do to keep the momentum going forward as you get ready for the region tournament?
It's real simple, Jeff. We just got to play better. I think tonight you don't want to get caught up in that trap of just winning ball games. I think you want to play well. That's the product of winning because of how you're playing. And tonight, I felt like we didn't really take a step back, but we didn't really get it. We didn't get better. So we'll take this. Like I always say, we'll take it and learn from it. But I think our premium has to be more so on playing better and not just the outcome.
So what did you think? Who won that?
Look. When I first watched those, I really didn't know.
Well, I tell you what was interesting. I feel for Coach Thompson. He's kind of in a tough spot, and you can see the frustration because I think he realizes if they could just find the right combos and get everybody on the same page at the same time, they might have something.
Yeah.
So you can see the pain. I mean, you can see the pain on his face. And then you watch Chuck Graham. You know, they called the practice after that.
Yeah, they did. They did.
So I think that kind of says it all. I think they were expecting more than what they showed, at least from their own inner things.
Yeah.
And, of course, then they turned around and the next night and they lost to Decula.
Right.
So, you know, right now they're trying to you mentioned it, identity.
Yep.
You mentioned that. So it's really interesting talking to both of those after that game and kind of getting a perspective.
You know, as we move along here to the basketball Tuesday recap and segging into that Gainesville boys game and what Gainesville had. Gainesville up 12 points. They were just about – it looked as if –
they were ready to blow it up.
They were pressing the gas pedal on down to the floor, and then, boom, an 11-1 run by Decula closes the game down to a 1-point halftime. And then Decula comes out. They keep – not oftentimes do you see a team keep the momentum with them through the halftime into the third quarter. They come out of the third quarter immediately to take the lead off a three-pointer. Right. So then it was a back-and-forth game, several lead changes, several ties. And then Gainesville comes in the fourth quarter. They have several opportunities to capitalize, to tie the game, take the lead, and try to, you know, establish their dominance once again. Right. Just couldn't do it. Just couldn't get a basket. And, you know, that is tough to see this late in the season by Gainesville because you think or you thought that Gainesville was starting to rise up, and now they kind of take a little setback against Decula, which they should not have lost that game. Just plain out should not have lost that game.
I mean, you were there. You were on the call on that. So I believe you. You know, when I was watching Gainesville, and I saw them all through Lanier land. I've seen them in a couple other games. Saw them the other night against East Hall. I think the challenge with it, because they have about 7 or 8 guys that are pretty equal. Finding the right combo. I think that's, and I'm wondering if Chuck Graham and the staff is still trying to figure out what's our best 5. You know, not necessarily.
I'm telling you who I like in that lineup with, you know, at Gainesville is I like Said Nicely. I like that kid. I like seeing him play ball. He is a 6'4", 300-pound post player.
He plays
that has great hands.
How many shots did he block against East Hall? Yeah, like 4 or 5 blocks.
I mean, I like seeing him in the lineup, and I think he kind of adds kind of that enforcer attitude inside the paint. Now, I think he could get just a little bit maybe meaner inside. But when I say meaner, without fouling.
Right.
And he picked a couple quick fouls up on Monday.
And that could be, you know, maybe that's the plan, and he's got to learn how to not get in foul trouble. But I like him on the floor as well, and I like Eli Pitts. I like you know, Reisman.
Eli
good.
Pitts, Reisman.
We were talking about this. We got Buffington. We got you know, Walt Dixon. There's just such a really good 5.
You know, with Donche Gaither.
I like Gaither. I like him coming off the bench.
I think he has the ability to kind of take over.
He can.
At some times.
How about he's your 6th guy coming in with a high energy. You know, because he can fill it up.
Right now, it looks like the rotation is between Said Nicely and Walt Dixon.
Right.
In that post.
See, I'd like to see both of them on the court at the same time.
I think that would kind of be interesting.
Chuck Graham, look, we've helped you out here.
We're trying to help you, Coach.
Yeah, you know, and of course, you know, advice is how much you pay for it. There you go.
This is free, so no paywall here, Coach. But yeah, so I think there's multiple things, but again, just finding that identity. You know, what is Gainesville going to be? They have 3 games left, region games left on their schedule to finish strong, and they can win all 3. Lanier's looming at Lanier next Friday. I mean, that's going to be, you know, they're leading the region at this moment.
We were at that game. They certainly had opportunities to win that game as well.
All right, so our lengthy discussion about Gainesville is we'll move on here. You guys,
the rest of the county's done turned us off already.
It's
Y'all
over.
can come back now.
All right, so the rest of the Tuesday night action, you guys were at North Hall covering North Hall Dawson. And the North Hall girls, they routed the Dawson County girls.
I was very impressed. I thought that's the best game I've seen North Hall girls play this year.
And that's the thing about North Hall girls. I think when they really put it together, and they always put it together against Dawson, it seems like, if they could duplicate their performance against Dawson, against every team they play, the consistency, Kristi House would probably be just happy all the
It
time.
was a 3-point barrage in the first quarter.
How many did you say there were?
There were 9 3-pointers combined for the two teams, 6 different players. And I think that's kind of what we expected. But then North Hall did what you've always they unleashed Gillespie out there.
Yeah,
and
the pest of all pests.
Yeah, she was out there. Her and McCall out front. I mean, they kind of turned over Dawson a little bit in the second quarter there.
Love her defense, man.
And they opened up a lead, and they never trailed.
Yeah.
The rest of the way, I was impressed. Not only did they grab the lead, but they did what you wanted Gainesville boys to do when they got the lead.
Yeah.
They pushed it, and they kept pushing it. I will tell you, if they play like that in the upcoming region tournament, I think they'll win the tournament. And I think that they can make some real damage in the playoffs.
If you have the ability to press the gas pedal down, do it. Just do it, because you're preparing for something bigger than the regular season.
Right.
You are preparing yourself to make a state playoff run.
Let me tell you,
and that's just what high school ball is about.
Listen,
it is.
I'm not, when they've got 4 or 5 girls that just light it up from outside, and they can play tall a little bit on the inside. They've got the pesky. They're really, they're much better on defense than I think people realize how they are. I'm gonna tell you, I think that's a team to watch as we get into the playoffs.
All right, so you guys caught up with Kristi House after the game, and let's see what she had to say.
Coach, you guys came out and really shooting the ball well in that first half, and that kind of set the tone.
It did, and always, when you shoot the ball well, you're going to hopefully put yourself in a situation to win. But I think more so than that, I was really proud of our defense in the first half because we really sped them up a little bit. And, they took some tough shots. And I was just really proud of our kids for, coming out playing like they did in the first and then not having to let down in the second. And really kind of there in the third quarter, having a good first 2 minutes to get things going.
Well, I was going to ask you next about the defense because y'all kind of came out strong. It didn't create a whole lot of turnovers, but kind of just took them out of what they were trying to do. How is this group playing overall right now?
Very well. After we feel like as a group, we probably had a little letdown after the Lanier Land. And then so we've kind of had to take an honest look at ourselves and what we're doing and, how can we be better every single day. And so, we had a great game down at GAC on Friday night where I thought we played really well. And so then, today, just what we saw out of our seniors and then our sophomore Riley McCall, we had a couple freshmen come in off the bench. I mean, just saw a lot of leadership from people today and really feel like hopefully this team's turned a little corner.
Coach House happy about the way they shot the ball, the way they played defense last night, and anytime you shoot the ball well and you play great defense,
it's
you got to be
win.
happy.
That's a winning combination, I think. But I think when me and Seth were interviewing, she kept she pointed out that she thought the girls grew up a lot on Tuesday night by the leadership. She goes, there were girls doing things out on the court that we've been wanting them to do all year. They finally did it. And I think if they finally, if the light bulb has gone off for what Coach House and the staff was trying to get them to do, and that's what we're going to see the rest of the year, I don't want to say they're going to get all the way to Macon because AAA girls is really tough. But I would put them in the conversation.
Well, a lot of people may not know, outside of her starting lineup, Coach House has a very, very young roster. All right, let's move on to the boys' game. Dawson County boys, they are pretty much in control of Region 7-3 at this moment. They started slow against North Hall. I think it was 13-11 after the first quarter, and then as we stick with our theme of the show, the gas pedal was pressed down.
I think they had some high octane fuel going after the first quarter. They were getting shots from everybody from all over the floor and played pretty well defensively and rebounded the ball.
Now, 3 overtime win against Denmark, number 6 in 4A. And then perhaps a slow start could be attributed to that a little bit.
We were talking about, might this be an upset special? North Hall had been playing really well. Dawson County was coming off the big win. You kind of
huge game for North Hall in the region standings.
Absolutely. So I think it had the makings for, as they say in today's lingo,
at North Hall.
Yeah, a trap game.
Yeah.
And maybe it was in the first quarter, but I think Dawson showed what they can really do. And I'm not sure there was much North Hall could really do to slow it down. I mean, and I'm not sure that really anybody can. I'm going to tell you, I think they are legitimate state title contender.
Coach Eric Herrick said after the game that they are an explosive team. They do shoot threes, but he's a little bit more concerned about rebounding and defense.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Y'all lead all 3 in scoring.
Nah,
So is that what you live on, or do you try to live on the defense?
When I took the job, we were already a great offensive team. My focus was on the defensive end, get the kids to rebound and play great defense. I thought we had a lot of skilled players, so the potential to put up a lot of points, and we got a bunch of great offensive threats. So that's not really something we focus on constantly. We would rather defend, because on you're gonna have nights where you don't shoot it well. Our calling card needs to be to fall back on our defense.
Well, y'all are still undefeated in the region. Where can this team? Because I'm sure right now this team feels like it can make a run in the playoffs. What does this team have to do to take maybe to that next?
Well, we just talked about, we got to defend. Like I tell our kids all the time, on any given night, the way we shoot the basketball, we can beat anybody in the state. But we got to be able to get stops, defend, and rebound in basketball.
Coach Herrick, if you followed his career when he was at North Forsyth, he was huge on defense and rebounding. If you didn't play defense, you didn't rebound, you're going to have a seat by him. And he's instilling his philosophy into this team and pushing that.
Right.
They're explosive, no doubt, but you
Right.
got to rebound and you got to play defense.
Well, I asked him a little bit about that. He goes, look, I inherited a great offensive team.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, he knew that. He goes, so I asked him, I was like, so what are the little things that you think, will make that next step? And, and he just said, well, it was just what we've been working on. If we can rebound, if we can play defense, because we know we're going to score. They're the highest scoring team in AAA.
Mm-hmm. When
When you can pour in the ball in the basket at the rate that they are, so if you can do the little things a little bit better, that's going to carry you far. And
difference between Final Four and championship game.
Absolutely.
All right.
And maybe that's the missing ingredient. And I tell you, I'm not sure I'd bet against them right now the way they're playing.
I don't think so either. All right, so this part of the show, as we look through, and we want to see what Seth has picked out this week. Seth is a little tired today. His teeth are clean, though. The good part about Seth, his teeth are clean. He has a sticky fluoride on his teeth today. And if you see anything in there, it's because he's been eating and it's just stuck to his teeth. Seth, what you got to not pick out of your teeth, but Seth picks today?
Thank you so much for sharing so much
What a
about my
segue.
personal
What a
day
segue
with our
right there.
audience. What a wonderful segue.
That's for those
Got some cool
two-faced.
stuff too. You're going to see a lot of those threes from yesterday from North Hall and Dawson girls. A lot of threes being dropped. And yes, I am a little sleepy. Pardon me.
Have you got anything from Buford last week?
Oh, yeah. Got some stuff.
Well, that was quite an impressive
That
show. And we
was.
didn't even talk about the Buford boys,
was.
and they avenged the loss to Walnut
They
Grove.
did.
They're starting to come on.
They're starting to come along.
Oh, yeah. So, y'all enjoy this week's version of
Seth's
Seth's Picks.
Back, and she'll pull the trigger for three on the right side. It's good. Back to Blair. Wallace bounce pass inside. Klein now bounce pass. Down low, the shot will go. Score that for Tatum Osmond. Pick it here. Jay McLeod checking the game. They turn it over. Turnover, Ashia Willis now will push quickly for the Wolves. Nice take by her off the glass. Good.
Look offensively there. And we got another steal.
There's another steal, and a layup shot is good, as the steal was by Tate Walters and Sarah Feeney for the most part. And there's Payton with a steal. She comes out of nowhere and scores it off the glass.
The State are going to do that. It's the travels, it's the errant passes that you can't afford.
Three-pointer hit by Blair Wallace. More turnovers. Also down to Perkins, back to Willis for three. It's good at the buzzer.
And Mullins ends up with the ball. He cross-courts it out. And now they skip it outside. Here's a three-pointer on the way. And good. Sebastian Augustin knocks it down. Down overran by Walnut Grove. Right into the hands of Buford. They dish it off to Caleb Williams. He goes in. Scoop layup goes. It's 11-2. Wolves up by 9. Sebastian Augustin spinning into the lane. Dips it off nicely inside for Williams, but he couldn't handle it. Munlin gets the offensive rebound, though, and he goes back up and in good. Back to Blackwell. Blackwell. Lob inside to Munlin. He catches, and a little reverse layup goes.
always, fantastic picks from Seth, and you can check the highlights out on our YouTube page and on the website. So check it out.
We should have given them a disclaimer, like they might have needed an umbrella because it was raining threes.
Well, we will give him an extra toothbrush and dental floss before we leave here today.
That is correct.
So as we move along, sorry, look, make faces at me again. Anyway, so let's move on to the
WilHart Team of the Week.
That is correct. Our big voice guy giving us the intro. And here are the nominees. North Hall Wrestling Team wins the state dual wrestling title. Lumpkin girls, they've won 3 straight, including a blowout, or how did you describe it? Domination or destruction of GAC, Greater Atlanta Christian, and the Buford boys, avenging the loss to Walnut Grove on Friday. Jeff, what say you?
Boy, that's 3 tough ones right there.
Tough.
I think I'm going to go, it's hard to not pick a state title winning team. So I'm going to go with North Hall Wrestling.
North Hall Wrestling.
And let me tell you something, they didn't just win there. There was so much we just couldn't get to it. That was a pick 'em. I mean, it was like straight up even. They dominated.
Well, I'm actually gonna go with you. I'm gonna pick North Hall Wrestling Team winning their state dual title. So congratulations!
Wow, he picked
North
wrestling.
Hall, you are non-sponsored WilHart Team of the Week, and of course, So
is this our?
We would
now,
give
look,
you a
since
plaque,
we've given
but
it
we
to,
have no sponsor for this.
Look, since we've given it to North Hall Wrestling, might this be the time we, can we write a letter to Lynn Cottrell?
I don't know. Perhaps so. Well, anyway, congrats to North Hall as you are this week's wrestling team, WilHart Team of the Week. All right, check us out on Twitter. All of our sports are there at WDUN Sports. Also, our brand new Facebook page, facebook.com/AccessWDUN Sports. Our Instagram page, the same handle on that. Jeff is at HeartJJ22. I'm at the Bo Wilson. Seth has a final message for you.
My final message, guys. I know a couple weeks back I made a big deal about how I was going to put
It was
a
huge.
huge deal about how I was going to put a lot of
Huge.
pictures on my websites that I got. And gosh darn it, it's just really hard to pick the best ones out of there. So I'm going to do this a completely different way. Somewhere, maybe like right here where the space is clean, I'm going to put my my information.
I don't see it, Seth.
I didn't see anything.
You're going to see it. I'll have to put it in post, but I'm going to put my
okay.
email and my
Post-production.
Instagrams, all that kind of stuff,
got
so you
you.
guys can hit me up if you see me at a game, want some pictures of either your child, some of your players, whoever you want, hit me up. If you see me at a game and you want some of my pictures, my info will be somewhere near where my finger's pointing right now.